I looked at this article on Axios, and looks like tens of thousands of real estate agents are giving up the profession, thinning out their pandemic era ranks as the housing market comes back to earth. And it looks like more than 60,000 have exited the sector over the last 6 months, according to the data from the National Association of Realtors, analyzed by Reventure Consulting. 60,000 nationwide have exited the profession. The number of realtors went from 1.372 million in March 2020 to 1.463 million in March 2021 and 1.53 million in March 2022. This is an ongoing thing, so I don't have the data for 2023, but it looks like it's going south. Have you noticed anything in our local market in the Virginia Beach area and Hampton Roads area proper where a lot of our colleagues have been leaving the industry?
Well, I would probably say that, real estate, as everybody knows, it's cyclical. So you have your peaks and your lows. And anytime that there's a downturn, you can obviously expect to see a downturn in real estate agents. Partially the reason being is because the barrier to entry is so low to get into being a real estate agent. You go to a class for a few weeks and you take a state test and a few $100 and you're a real estate agent. So it's a very low barrier to entry to get into the real estate market. But yes, there's going to be people who are leaving and there's going to be those agents who stay. And those are the agents who don't have a plan B. They're all in on plan A. And that's just kind of how I see the market right now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Would you say that as the housing market booms, so to speak, because we had that huge boom during the pandemic where I remember in 2019 we were leading into it. I thought it was favoring sellers in our market. But as we started hitting that pandemic, it's like somebody took that favoring sellers market and poured gasoline on it. And all of a sudden we have a multitude of different agents as well as buyers that just kind of drove the housing prices up in our area. And it was really easy to get clientele during that time. As an agent myself, buyers were falling out of the sky and in my pocket before we really had to get to know somebody, be professional and be trustworthy. I'm not saying you had to do that. You weren't going to do that during the pandemic, but it was much easier to pick up buyer clientele during that time that I had found. I'm curious, as some of our newer colleagues that had entered the profession, is this setting up sort of an unrealistic expectation?
I would say absolutely certain. It is an unrealistic expectation. Any agent who has been an agent prior to 2019, even 2019 was kind of a run up to what happened in 2020 and COVID and the whole pandemic just, exacerbated the situation. But in 2019 was the run up to 2020, and then the pandemic hit in early 2020, and then the government starts putting a lot of money into the economy to keep the economy afloat. So naturally, people have extra money. Home buying became an opportunity for people to take that money and invest it into things, which was actually a pretty smart move for most homeowners who bought in 2020 and 2021. And they're going to reap the benefits of that long term. But it did become unrealistic. Myself and even the broker owner of our company, we were sitting down doing the rookie of the year numbers, and it was like 9.2 million was our rookie of the year. And it was like, whoa, this is like unheard of.
In our market, you got to think, what's the average house in our market price point? Between 350, I think, to 400. I think somewhere around 375, isn't it?
At this point right now it is, but go back to 2020 and the median home sale was probably closer to 300, maybe 3 to 325 would have been the median home sales, in 2020. But yeah, now it's grown to probably about 375 is about the median average home sale.
Yeah, I bring that up because, for whoever's our audience members are, they might be agents themselves and they might be in a New York market and they might say, rookie of the year getting 10 million, that ain't nothing. That's, poverty volume, but in our market, to kind of put it in perspective, when you got, between 350 and 375, and you stack that up on deals. Now that's probably the median. That's not necessarily the low point, because you get low points, medians, and, occasionally high points, or if you're just a high volume realtor, you might be nothing but 7-figure properties. But just trying to put that a little bit into a perspective so you understand how many deals a rookie would have to do to achieve that 10 million in our market. And then, during the pandemic type, I mean, like, again, it's not hard to get, buyers, and the activity was just intense. But now that the interest rates have gone up, I think, what are we at this point? Somewhere around 7 to 7.5%. Did I read that wrong, or?
Well, it kind of teeters, but we are kind of at that higher point where I know last week I did a loan officer that I use frequently. She mentioned that the going rate was 7.99 last week. Now it's come down some off of those highs, but a lot of it is fluctuating. But 2 weeks ago, I was getting 6.75%. So it really is in flux. There's a lot of volatility in the interest rates right now. But I do want to go back and just capture one more point. So speaking on that rookie of the year at 9.2 million, that's about 3 deals per 1 million. So 3 times 9 is 27 deals. And prior to the pandemic, the National Association of Realtors had said that the average realtor had generated 10 sales per year. That was the average. And this was a rookie who did at least 27 just based off the averages. So it was almost 3 times the amount that was expected of just an average realtor in the market. And that just really goes to show you, the length and how many people were coming into buying houses in that time frame.
So, and I'm not saying that, and when I make this point, I'm not saying that if somebody who's new that comes in the industry can't light the world on fire. That's not what I think I'm getting at. I don't think that's what you're getting at either.
No.
Because I've seen rookie agents sell rings around some of these dinosaur agents that just learn how to learn how to work a fax machine. So they do quite. There's a lot of folks that do quite well, even outsell me in their first year. I mean, shoot. So I'm not saying that that's, out of the ordinary, but I believe kind of if you're coming into this field during that pandemic, it kind of sets an unrealistic expectation going forward. And I think that kind of compounds the issues, not only affecting the psychology of the person, like saying, hey, I just did 10 million last year in my rookie year. Why am I only at 3 million now? So be a little bit nicer on yourself. If you find yourself in that situation, continue to learn and whatnot. So it's not just you if you're feeling that pain. It's across the United States right now. Even my sister's an agent in Chicago. She's telling me, hey, it's not so sexy up here either with the volume, but it's just what it is. I mean, and an article by Investopedia, majority of real estate licensees are inactive or part-time with commission-related income that by itself is not sufficient to support them financially. Yet, because so many agents look for opportunities to sell properties, most full-time agents are unable to secure enough clients to provide commission-related income that is at or above the national median household income of around $70,000.
Yeah, and I think that, again, for most people who are getting into real estate, they have an entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
The reason why they may be part-time is because, as an entrepreneur, you kind of go with what's working right now. And if there's a slowdown on one thing, you start to go to something else that may be showing signs of better results. And you're always, as a person who has an entrepreneurial mindset, you're always looking for what's that next play for you, because that's just how your mind focuses. So it's pretty common that you're going to see these type of downturns as the market starts to downturn as well. But there are going to be those agents who are in it for the long haul, that this isn't a part-time thing for them. And the reason why they do what they do is because they love doing what they do. They love helping people buy homes and sell houses and make financial decisions.
Get this surplus of agents that entered during the pandemic, because there's a lot of folks that said, hey, that's easy money. We'll go ahead and join up and start, doing real estate. which it was pretty decent money, but when it's not, it ends up creating a surplus of us. And what it's finding is because there's a surplus of agents in America, there is some complaints that, it's lowering the quality. So the low barrier of entry into our field puts buyers and sellers at risk of ending up with dubious advice on one of the biggest transactions of their lives, while the capable agents are forced to spend inordinate amounts of time and money trying to stand out from the pack, the report said. They also waste hours dealing with incompetent colleagues as they try to get a sale across the finish line. When too many agents are fighting over too few deals, they're incentivized to keep commission rates high so they can continue to eke out a living to the detriment of the consumers.
Yeah, I don't see anything incorrect with this article. There are going to be those agents. The other thing that this article doesn't really touch on as an agent in the field, I know that the longer a real estate agent goes without a commission check, the more desperate they get to make a sale. And there are going to be times where they don't give the best advice to their client just solely because they know they need that sale. They need that commission in order to keep themselves financially afloat. And so therefore, they don't give the best advice when if they had, a surplus of business going on, deals going on, and there was a higher inventory of houses available, they could always say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I don't think this is the right one. Let's go take a look at some other ones that I think may be a better fit for you. We can find a better financial investment for you in a new home other than this one here.
Yeah, it kind of seems like I can only imagine if you're really, really hurting on money and you got bills to pay and whatnot, is it possible that you're going to give and I really hope that we don't have folks out there in our field like this, but are we going to give them bum advice just so we can close them?
No. I mean, there's just, let's be real. Like, this is the reality is yes, there's going to be people who are going to put their own financial gain in front of their customers, in front of their clients, and what's best for them. And it's unfortunate, but it's the reality that there are going to be agents who do this. And this is where the buyers and sellers, you have to really interview the agents that you're working with and find out who they are as a person. And, if they're an agent who's not a full-time agent in the market on a regular basis, they can lose sight of what's happening in the market. You may find a buyer agent who puts in an offer that is not contingent on a home inspection, thinking that we're still in the 2020, 2021 market. And here we are in 2023 where there's not as much competition and you don't need to put an offer that's, not contingent on a home inspection. There's things like that happen. One of the things I woke up to this morning, I have a lot of memes that I follow that are jokes about real estate, but one of the things that I seen this morning was this meme, and it said something to the effect of buying without a home warranty can sting. And the buyer found that underneath their kitchen sink was a beehive nest where there were bees living and their community was there. And because they didn't do a home inspection at the advice of their real estate agent, now they got a house that has a bee infestation. So it's just things like that an agent who's not aware of the current market, that may be a part-time. And I'm not saying that you can't do this job part-time. You can do it part-time. In fact, I did it part-time myself for a number of years while I was serving, but I constantly had an influx of deals going on, so I was always able to remain aware of what the market was that we were in at the time.
Look, I get it. Everybody's got bills to pay and whatnot, and I'm not going to sit here and lecture you on how to do your business because I'm not a top producer. I wouldn't say I was a top producer. I would say I end up at the end of the year usually in the top 10%, and I try to keep myself even there. So I would say I'm a survivor. I would say, you're more of top producer status this year. I've been watching your numbers. You're freaking killing it. You're like, oh my God, I just ratified 5 deals this month, or something crazy like that. I'm like, nice. Okay. Asshole. So, but I would say from my advice as a survivor so far going through this, I'm still making a comfortable living. I'm still doing real estate full time, and I have no plan B to get another job. And unfortunately, I just saw a social media post. I think it was old F Book. And on F Book, they had one of our colleagues, I'm not going to say who, but I don't even know this person, actually. I shouldn't even say colleague, but I don't know. Somebody in our industry. They posted a post that said, hey, guys, curiosity, what are you guys doing in the real estate industry other than real estate to kind of supplement your income during this hard time? And I saw some different posts down below. I saw somebody saying, yeah, I'm babysitting part-time. Somebody else said, hey, I'm working at a bank. Another person was doing something completely unrelated. I believe it was like the IT field or something like that. I looked at it and it kind of got me sad because I know how exciting it is to come into this field and be able to help clients, achieve that goal of selling their homes for, whatever money so they can move on to something else, or helping that buyer, buy that first time. It feels really good. And it's not a job like any other, where you get to have that same sort of feeling. At least I haven't experienced in my 44 years on this earth. But it made me kind of sad. But I also, had to do some reflection on myself. And I said, hey, listen here, buddy. It doesn't matter if it gets hard or it gets easy. You're in it for the long run. There's no plan B. But what about you? What's your part-time job gig going to look like?
It's not going to look like anything. This is it. Again, I just believe that, this is what wakes me up in the morning, helping clients, helping them buy homes, first-time home buyers. I got into the industry back in 2014 because my real estate agent at that time, who was the owner and broker of her own company, she convinced me that there were a lot of veterans out there that didn't even know how to use their VA home loan, and they needed someone like me who could help educate them, who could be caring and guide them through the process. And as a veteran myself, that really hit home and resonated with me that, hey, I want to help. I want to be that person that goes out there and helps the veterans that need help buying a house or selling a house. And being in a high military concentration area, we have military members who are getting orders on short notice. Hey, I need to go to Japan and I need to sell my house and move my family back home to Texas or wherever they are in order to sustain. And I just like to be that advice and that guidance in order to help them achieve those tasks that they need to do.
Yeah, I agree. Moving forward, like as especially as some of our colleagues have come in during the pandemic, they're going to want to stick in with it. They're not going to do a plan B. They're going to keep going forward. Especially if they're entering right now, as we're going on the downslope, there's plenty of opportunity to be really successful in the business if you're willing to run towards the fire. So I could give some advice as a survivor. I guess, I'm staying full time. I'm not going anywhere. That's what I mean by survivor. I'm still making the 6-figure income, but I'm not necessarily making 7-figure income or high 6-figure income. So I'm doing quite okay. I'm comfortable. Kids are happy. I'm happy. If you want to get to that status, I'll give you a couple words of advice if you want to take it. And that is, one, of course, get up and do what you do every day. Be consistent, because I'll tell you what, motivation is temporary. Okay, you can be motivated all you want. It's discipline that keeps you keep going every day. You get up, you make those 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 phone calls and prospect. If you don't like prospecting, get out in the community and have conversations with people. Try to have at least 5 to 10 conversations with people you don't know per day about real estate. See if you can do that. Eventually people get tired of you talking about real estate, but they'll keep you in the back of your mind. So it's not just Facebook posts. It's not just, social media posts. You got to have some sort of engagement with that, So I would do that. And the other thing is I would tell you to be careful on is what's called lifestyle inflation. You heard of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I touched on it just a tad bit in what I was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. You break it down for them.
Well, I mean, just lifestyle inflation just refers to an increase in spending when an individual's income goes up. Lifestyle inflation tends to become greater every time an individual gets a raise and can make it difficult to get out of debt, save for retirement, or meet other big picture financial goals. So, in other words, let's say you get into real estate. Let's say you're setting the world on fire. You're really getting everything done. You're closing a bunch of deals and the money's coming in. You love it. And that's great. And you go out and buy a $100,000 car, and you sell your house and buy one that's $300,000 more. And you get some Versace clothes and whatever it is that you're trying to get. You get all this stuff, you rack up your credit cards, and you think, that's okay. I'm up to this new income, until you don't. So, because it's cyclical. I mean, heck, you could close multiple deals in a month, or you might roll a donut that month. So your income could come in spurts. So as it comes in spurts, save some for a rainy day. Matter of fact, I only take out, whenever I get a commission personally, I only take out what I need. I leave the rest in the business to reinvest, because I'll tell you what, if you stay in this business for a while, you're going to want to start getting into investments. You're going to start flipping houses. You're going to start doing new constructions. You're going to want to start, doing a lot of these things that the big boys and the big girls do in real estate. And you can't get to that if you have no capital. You got no cash. You're going to expect somebody to say, I want to learn how to flip a homes, Agent Jones. Oh, great. Do you have any money? Well, no, I was hoping you would, just take me under your wing and show me how to flip a house, and I could just use your money and run things. Yeah, that doesn't work. So you got to save your own money, get your own capital. Somebody will be willing to show you the ropes if you got your own money to risk, but you can't get that way if you let lifestyle inflation dictate your life. Your thoughts?
Yeah, again, this goes back to what I was saying. When real estate agents are dependent on commission checks, that actually shows through to your clients. They can show.
Oh, they can smell the desperation.
They can tell some of the advice that you're giving is not good advice, and they know it. They're like, hey, this doesn't even sound right. Like, let me go ask somebody else. Let me go find another friend who's a real estate agent.
Yep, and all of a sudden they're gone. They're with that friend now.
Like, what happened to that person?
Also, they won't answer your texts, their phone calls.
You got ghosted. That's what happened.
It happens to everybody, man. It happens to everybody.
They can tell that you're desperate and that you're not giving the best advice, and you're not telling them what's in their best interest. And when that happens, that's whenever you find yourself not having any deals. People are ghosting you left and right. And while you're trying to figure out what's going on, they can tell you're desperate. The desperation comes through in yourselves and how you talk and how you communicate and the recommendations that you give. So, not that there's any best way of doing it, other than the only way to do this is always put your client's best interest in front of your own. That's it. That's the only way to do this and stay in it for the longevity.
I mean, that's real estate agent 101 or realtor 101 there, is always put your client's interests before your own. The other thing I would say, and this, maybe as a last point I'll bring up, is if you have downtime between deals, focus on yourself, man. Focus on, educating yourself, right? Because as it gets more difficult, because there's less inventory on the market for buyers to buy, less buyers because of interest rates, and more agents than ever before, you got to be competitive. So, and here's, of course, I don't want to give up all the goods of what I do, or you don't want to necessarily give up all the goods that you do. You don't want our competition to know what we do. But I will say that you got to be more than what you usually are. And what I mean by that is you can't be a Barbie and Ken agent. And here's what I mean by a Barbie and Ken agent. Those are just basic agents. Those are, I help you buy a house, I help you sell a house. I open a door for you and I go inside if I'm working with a buyer and say, would you look at this space? Isn't this wonderful? Can your couch fit here? Would this work really nice for you? If you're just pointing out look at the stainless steel appliances and the granite countertops, the clients can see that. That's the obvious. So what else are you offering besides pointing out the obvious? If you're just opening a door and pointing out the obvious, I mean, they don't necessarily even need you there, just need you to open the door. So are you checking I don't know, how old the HVAC is? Are you reading the service tag? Are you saying, okay, HVAC is 15 to 20 years life expectancy on average. hey, this was manufactured back in 2014. How many years you got left? Do the math. Same thing with, might want to teach them a little bit about home maintenance if they're first time home buyer. For example, the small things like changing out an HVAC filter every month. You want to do that because if not, what could happen? We did a flip on our house, and what happened? It was $1,700 to replace a fan motor because we blew it out because we never replaced the gunked out, painted up air filter that we had. So that ended up costing money. So that's an experience you can pass on to the clients and say, hey, look, share your own personal experience. And I would say if you're a homeowner, actually, I don't know why you're telling people, you're trying to educate people on the finer points of home ownership if you don't own a home yourself. But I think there are
some out there.
But I would actually think that's a requirement, because how are you going to tell somebody about how great it is to own a house if you don't even own a damn house yourself? I mean, do you have to maintain one? What are you teaching them? Are you just opening the door and saying, look at the stainless steel appliances? I mean, like I said, I'm not throwing shade at somebody out there. If you're out there listening to this, you're getting a little ruffled around the feathers. Hey man, I'm not trying to offend you. What I'm trying to say is add value, find value to add, because I'm telling you some maintenance things. You might find something about a house that I don't know about that you can tell them too. That would be great information. Same thing on the selling side. If you're telling clients, look, open house, open house, price reduction, or staging. If you're only saying those three things to the client, that's all the value you're giving. Might want to talk about how your marketing plan and how you're going to do it. Omit those three I just said and try to come up with a different solution on how to get people in that house and, see the house and write an offer. Because at the end of the day, what is it? It's a numbers game. How many showings versus how many offers? You got 10 showings versus one offer. You got a 10-to-1 ratio. Come on, it's just the numbers. So figure out how to get butts in the seats and butts in that house. That's your marketing plan. That's the value you add. That's how you sell it. So that's what I would say on that.
Yeah, and this is the last point, and we'll wrap this up. But knowing what it takes to rehab a house or what the costs are involved in it will help you with your sales. And I'm going to give you just a quick case point on a family I was showing a house to yesterday. We're looking at a $1.1 million house. The wife says to the husband, hey, how much do you think it would cost to redo this kitchen? And the husband's like, I don't know, maybe $70,000. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second here. I'm not sure what type
of kitchen.
I'm not sure what type of kitchen you're putting together here, but $70,000 is a bit much. But we counted out the cabinets, 18 cabinets. I said, look, even if you get $1,000 cabinet cost, you're looking at $18,000 for the cabinets. I said, I just, in one of my rehabs, we just put in a whole KitchenAid appliance set that was $6,000. But if you want to go top of the line Viking, you're probably going to be looking closer to 10 to 15 for a Viking set. And then your countertops, give yourself another 5 to 10. But, in total, when we added it all up, I was like, even if we went high end everything, you couldn't get past 45, and that was just high end on everything that we did. So 70 is a bit much, and they weren't looking for a very high-end kitchen. They were just looking for a nice kitchen in a house, and it was a beach house. So, just knowing those type of things will help you with your sales. And this kind of goes back to what Robert was saying is, like, if you got some downtime right now and you're not sure, like, hey, look, I want to be doing something. This is one thing that I always tell everybody. I don't know any real estate agent that comes into the real estate market and says, hey, I want to come in the real estate market not to be successful. Everyone who comes in the market says, I want to be successful in this, and that's why they go through the process of going through the school, taking the test. Some people take the test multiple times to get into the profession. But if you're right now sitting and you're like, hey, I don't have any business, but I know I want to be doing something, then be around something. That means go to kitchen and bath stores and find out what are the costs to redo a kitchen, right? That way, whenever you're with your client and they have that question come up and say, hey, what does it cost to redo a kitchen? They may not know, but if you know the answer, then you can give the answer. And that's what you mean when you say that you're not a Barbie and Ken agent, because now you're giving more value to the transaction. You know things that you can tell them, like what's the average cost of an HVAC, right?
Yeah.
those are things that as a real estate agent in this profession, you should know.
Thanks for watching us and listening. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe to us. Leave a like. If you hate it, give us a dislike. And be sure to check us out every week on Friday. We're going to go ahead and release a new video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.